Red Bull suspects their rivals of breaking the rules and threatens to follow suit. Alpine might abandon Renault engines. Christian Horner expects Checo to return to form in Barcelona as pressure from competitors increases. This is Formula One news, and we are starting. Christian Horner hopes for improved results from Sergio Perez. Although it seemed that Red Bull was on its way to another championship, the season took an unexpected turn after the Miami Grand Prix. In the last 4 Grand Prix, we have seen 3 different winners and fierce competition between Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren, with Mercedes joining the fray in Canada. As for Perez, he hasn't made it to the podium in any of these 4 Grand Prix and failed to finish in 2 of them. These performances by the Mexican driver have placed the burden on Verstappen to secure maximum points in each race to keep Red Bull at the top of the Constructors' Championship. In this regard, team principal Christian Horner told Checo that he needs to recover at the Spanish Grand Prix. Checo just needs to forget Canada 2024 and turn up in Barcelona and bounce back. We know that he's very capable of doing that, and I'm sure he'll come back fighting hard in Barcelona. We were lucky that Ferrari didn't score any points. They could have taken a lot of points out of us in the Constructors, so we need him up there, scoring as he was in the first 4 races. Alpine is considering abandoning Renault engines from 2026 and has begun negotiations with other manufacturers to purchase their engines. Given that the current Renault power unit has lower performance compared to competitors, and there is no certainty that they will improve with the next generation of turbo hybrids, Alpine is questioning whether it is worth investing heavily in producing their own engine. It is reported that the French team has held talks with Red Bull regarding the purchase of their future engines, but the chances of striking a deal are slim, as Red Bull does not want to complicate their operations by supplying engines to 3 teams, Red Bull Racing, RB, and Alpine, in the first year of using their own engine. Another option could be Mercedes engines, especially since they have recently lost a customer, Aston Martin. However, if an agreement with Mercedes is not reached, Formula One may require Honda to supply their engines to Alpine. Current regulations state that the manufacturer with the fewest customers must supply their engines to any team left without a power unit. Red Bull accuses McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes of having front wings that flex too much. The deformation of front wings is strictly regulated, and the FIA regularly tightens its load tests. But in contrast, teams invest a lot of time and money to ensure controlled flexing of the aerodynamic parts of their cars. During the inspection of the front wings, a pressure of 60 newtons is applied at several points in a stationary state, and the wings must not deform more than 3 millimeters. The trick is to design the wing in such a way that it passes the test, but can flex at certain speeds to change its aerodynamic properties. In August of last year, the regulations were tightened, affecting the Aston Martin team. Their wing failed the inspection, forcing them to replace it. During this period, they lost a significant portion of their performance and eventually dropped to 5th place among all teams, which can be partially attributed to the tightening of the rules. And now the issue of wing deformation comes to the forefront. Red Bull points out that the wings of McLaren and Ferrari flex too much under load. Mercedes also suspected that the secret to their competitors' performance largely depended on the front wings, but instead of fighting it, they followed the same path, which is currently within the rules. We already saw the result of Mercedes' new wing at the Canadian Grand Prix. The essence of its function is that in slow and medium speed corners, it doesn't deform and provides a high level of downforce on the front axle, which is crucial for this type of corner. However, at high speed, the wing deforms, reducing downforce on the front axle and altering the airflow to other elements of the car, particularly the floor. This helps to avoid creating excess downforce and makes the car more stable in high-speed corners. Whoever has a wing that provides the desired downforce in slow and fast corners and also alters the airflow to the rear of the car holds a trump card. Red Bull does this too, but now it seems that McLaren, Ferrari, and possibly now Mercedes have made a step forward in this regard. If this continues to be tolerated, we will have to go down the same path, say Red Bull. It's interesting to see where this story will lead and whether FIA will be forced to intervene and tighten the rules. It's also intriguing why Red Bull didn't take the Mercedes route and adopt a similar wing design. Perhaps they don't see significant benefit for their car in doing so, or maybe they believe it's more advantageous to slow down others. Share your thoughts on this in the comments.